What's up, guys? Shane here from Team COG. Just gonna do some self-promoting here for the channel, so if you guys want, you can skip ahead. So thanks you guys for coming to Team COG. This is my Noble Knight deck profile. Just wanted to put a few things out there. If you guys haven't gone and liked and subscribed this video already, I would love if you could. It really helps the channel and helps us get support and make more of the videos that you guys love. Charles is in Jamaica. We did get a sponsorship with OPHIDIAN playmats. They are supported by ARG and another thing. It's COG5. So if you guys were planning on getting any mats, I highly recommend you go and get OPHIDIAN mats. These mats that we use here are actually OPHIDIAN mats, and we really like them. So that's one thing you guys can do if you really enjoy the channel and you wanted to support us a little bit. And you'll get a little bit of a discount on mats while you're at it. Hope you guys enjoy the video, but let's get started. So this is my Noble Knight deck profile. So we got 3 Noble Knight Madrot. Madrot's definitely your starter card. You really want to see him together with a Noble Arms, because that really allows you to do a 2-card combo in order to get into an Isolde and a rank 4. So he's really great to get you started. And it'll usually net you a +1. And then you've got Noble Knight Brothers. Brothers is definitely one of your best cards to see in your opening hand if you don't see Madrot, as well as he's one of your main cards you're going to summon off of the Isolde while you're doing your combo. So he's the reason you're able to net 1. He's a pretty strong Digusto effect, and that's really great. Noble Knight Custenon's kind of your plan B for the deck. He's able to special summon himself if you don't, or if you do have a monster on board with an equipped spell. He's basically how you get around opening just the Ivan and him, because for the Ivan Isolde combo, you really only need 2 Noble Knights on board if you have an Ivan in hand. So Noble Knight Brothers or Custonon can all work pretty well with that, and Custonon allows you to have an additional normal summon for any Noble Knight XYZ Link monster that you summon with him. I would count he can do it for synchros too, but you're really not going to synchro summon much with this version, or at all actually. So Noble Knight Dristan. Dristan's level 4. He pretty much provides your Isolde with an untargetability during your combo, so he can protect her if summoned off of Brothers. Say you summon Ivan, Brothers, and Dristan, and you equip Dristan with the equip card, and you had like 2 equip cards. You're basically putting your whole hand out on one of these. If you see Dristan, if you see Ector in your first hand, Dristan's probably what I would recommend searching. He's a really good monster, but he's definitely only a 1 of. You've got 1 Gawain. This is the card that took me so long to put out this profile. I was actually waiting for it in the mail. I was playing a Gwalchavold in this spot, but Gwalchavol's a good recursion, but this card's much better as an extender. So just seeing him in a hand, he's kind of the reason you don't use the Madrot to link summon, as well as shuffling the Ivan back with Brothers is also really important. But Gawain can special summon himself when there is a Noble Knight normal monster on the field, so that's pretty good. So he includes actually Madrot and Boars when they're unequipped. So we got the one of Boars. Boars will really get you to your Noble Arms until the Noble Arms are needed again. He's a really good monster. Basically, you can do his effect, reveal 3 Noble Arms cards. I usually go for Gwynethar, and 2 Noble Arms are needed again. I recently decided to bump up Noble Arms are needed again because I didn't see it very often, and you really kind of want to see it. Being you can make full combo with only 2 cards, it's really not that hard. It's really not that easy to brick on, so I decided to bump it up to multiples. We've got the 1 Ivan. Ivan, you're playing a lot of 1 of Noble Knights in this deck because they're all pretty good, but you don't want to see a lot of the same. So Ivan's really good. He equips an equip spell, and then he summons out a normal token, which is where you'll need your token from. From the token, you can go into Link Spider if you're feeling adventurous, but for the most part, you're going to be using him and the token to make Isolde. Or if you want, you can use him and Custanin, or the token and Custanin, because it'll give the Isolde the ability to give you an additional normal summon, which is really important sometimes. We've got Ector. I was having a hard time pronouncing him when I was doing the combo videos. I should be able to put a little notification box for the combo videos over right now, so if you guys are interested in the combo videos, I'll either have it in the description below, or I'll have a little info card pop up about now. So Ector's your one of that you most want to search off of Isolde. I'm planning on building a going second Noble Knights. I don't think I'll be playing with him because he is such a hard brick if you open with him, and you don't want to do that going second. So I am going to probably cut him in the going second build, but I will try to have the going second build out within the next few weeks here. I just need to get a few more cards. 3 Merlin. Merlin definitely increases your consistency, just because putting him on board is just another way to draw it. The only downside is if Merlin gets ashed, you're kind of boned. You're not even kind of, you're really boned. That's why you're playing Called by the Graves. Called by the Grave in 3 is probably really a good idea, but in this build currently I'm only playing 2 of. I'm really enjoying the build. I've played against Charles with his Crusadias, and it didn't have a terrible time with him. I'm played against Danger Dark Worlds against him. That's a pretty hard matchup, actually, weirdly, just because it can get enough monsters on board to break my boards very easily, and you kind of have a little bit of a struggle with only being able to negate a few things at a time, usually. We got Morgan the Enchantress of Avalon. I play her in 2 ofs. I play her at 2. She just got a reprint in that prismatic parallel secret rare. That's pretty. But I play 2 of her because she's a really good hand trap. She's basically the archetype. This archetype's version of Subterror Fiendus. She is a little less effective, but she can protect your Morgan, or Madrot, not your Morgan, but she can protect your Madrot while you're going through your combo, because at no point are any of the monsters not equipped with a equip spell. So that's pretty good. Just so you guys know, if Madrot or Boars are on board, they can't target them with Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence, because, they can't even target it with Infinite Impermanence, Effect Veiler, or any of the Sky Striker spells that negate, because they are not normal. It's a normal monster while it's on the field, so they are not effect monsters until equipped with something. So Morgan actually can protect you as soon as you become an effect monster, because it can negate pretty much anything. We've got 1 Gwennifer, the Queen of the Noble Arms. I've been thinking about bumping this up. I really enjoy this card because of its graveyard. It can reattach from the graveyard or hand, and she's a really good protection. A lot of the times when you're going through combo, you'll end up popping your Noble Arms of Destiny to equip to the Isolde. So being able to use Gwennifer in grave or in hand to equip to the Artorigus to protect him along with the Isolde is pretty nice in my opinion. And then Triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. She's definitely the best hand trap right now. If I was planning on doing anything, I'd probably put in 2 Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit, because it's just really, I think Ghost Ogre Snow Rabbit is probably the second best hand trap in the current meta. It is kind of a stun meta right now though, so I guess we'll see how that evolves. It's really interesting to see this format go down away with Nibiru and Dark Ruler no more. So I'll do the traps real quick because they're not there's only one of them. I'm playing 3 until Noble Arms are needed once again. I don't find this to be bricked very often. Because of your 1 or 2 card combo, you'll usually end up with this card just really plussing you in the long run. You really can't argue against, well, you can make an argument against 3 of them, but I don't see how it really makes a difference. I've been playtesting with this deck a lot, and I don't really see it breaking me very often just because of how consistent the 2 card combo really is. But yeah, I play 3 of because its first effect can be activated multiple times. So you can flip as many of them as you have and then gain advantage off of that. But its second effect, to banish from graveyard, is really good as well. But it can only be used once per turn. Heritage of the Chalice at 3. Heritage of the Chalice is probably one of your best new support cards. It also came out in Parallel Secret, so that's beautiful. So did actually Noble Arms Are Needed again. It was common before, so that was really nice. But Heritage of the Chalice was and is your primary searcher of the deck, especially since Road is dead, or at 1. It can search either a Noble Arms equip or a Noble Knight monster, which is really great, but its second effect is really overlooked quite often, where it adds it back from grave to your hand if a Noble Knight is destroyed. It really allows you to recur and kind of recur advantage when you lose your board, which can restart your whole board, and it's really, really great for it's really, really great search card for the deck, and it's really something it needed. Too bad most of the other support wasn't very good. We did receive an equip spell and a few other monsters. Ivan was probably the best. Ivan and Kusnin were probably the best ones. The Pelennor was probably the worst, easily, hands down. But moving on, we've got 2 Noble Arms of Destiny. It's really good to equip this with your monsters. I really messed up that sleeve. But it's being able to protect your Noble Knight monsters from destruction once per turn is no laughing matter, especially if they go to ogre your Madrot and you've got the Noble Arms equipped on it while its effect is activating. You can kind of use this instead of letting it be destroyed. So that's really nice. One thing is, though, if you're destroying it with Madrot, you've got to remember you cannot use the Autorgus to destroy it and re-equip it, because it has already been destroyed once this turn, and it can only re-equip once per turn. So that's really an unfortunate thing about all the Noble Knights, or all the Noble Armed card, is they don't equip more than once. As well, you can only control one of them. So you can only control 1 Noble Arms of Destiny. The only one you can control multiple of is Noble Arms Excalibur. Excalibur is the only one you can control multiple of, but it's also the only one that cannot re-equip when destroyed. But it does have a super strong effect of not allowing your opponent to target that monster for effects. So that's just really busted. It kind of puts Noble Knights in a bad position. Not Noble Knights. It puts your Noble Knights in a great position, but it puts Sky Strikers in a really bad position. A lot of these combos are going to go through 5 summons or more, though, so remember that for Nibiru. If you think your opponent's holding Nibiru, you can always do the basic combo with Boars and Madrot. Keep your summons down. That's really only thing you can do to prevent Nibiru from kind of wrecking your board. You'll put a monster on board, but a pretty strong monster usually. But yeah, that's one of the cases you won't go for the Noble Arms Are Needed once again, because you want all the equip spells you can, and if you're playing Boars, that's definitely what you need to do. 1 Noble Arms Caliburn. Caliburn's probably my favorite equip spell. It gains you a lot of life point advantage, because if you activate it on Madrot, gain 500, destroy it, it re-equips to whichever monster you summon, gain 500, and then when you eventually summon Artorigus, you'll gain another 500. So That effect isn't once per turn, so it gains you a lot of life point advantage. I also love how this card looks. It's probably, it definitely is my favorite equip spell. That being said, it's the only one I would probably maybe bump up to 2 if I was having some problems seeing equip spells. I have recently, but I haven't felt the need to bump it up at all. But if I was planning on bumping up any of the noble arms, I would probably go for 2 Excalibur as well. My second favorite is Gallatin. Gallatin is the biggest attack boost. These two are both attack boosts, actually. That's 500 and that's 1,000. Gallatin's back draw, though, is it gains 1,000 and it'll lose 200 every standby phase. So it's bad, but you can reset it with Artorigus, either by summoning something on top of him using Excalibur, Excalibur, or using his own effect to pop it and re-equip it. If you pop it and re-equip it, the attack goes to normal and then re-equips to add another 1,000. So it really is just a card to get your monsters really big, but it is probably my second favorite of the equip spells. This is your face down spot removal. I'm not even going to try to attempt to say it because I'm always wrong. Turf. Yeah, see, I shouldn't have done it. But this is your spell and trap destruction. Unfortunately, can only hit face downs, or set spell and traps. So that's kind of a bummer, but it's still probably one of your better equipped spells. I play 1 Clarent. I think Clarent's underestimated, really. Being able to pay 500 and go around all your opponent's monsters is a really good effect, in my opinion. It's kind of funny because it's like a backstab. Glory of the Noble Knights. I only play this at 1 because you can only activate 1. You can shuffle this back with Brothers because it's a Noble Knight card. But being able to spontaneously equip any equip spell is very, very good. And it should never be underestimated, being able to bump up your monster 1,000 during the battle phase. So, Called by the Grave. Of course, you're playing multiples of this. I'm currently playing 2 Called by the Grave. Let me get all the Noble Knight spells out of here. I'm currently playing 2 Called by the Grave. It is definitely very much needed. I need to get Parallel Secrets, but it's very much a needed spell card. Protecting your combos is very important. It's part of the reason I play the Morgan instead of the Ghost Ogres in the main deck. But you're not always going to be able to see Morgan, and being able to see the Called by the Grave is very important. So, moving on to the one-ofs. Moving on to the one-ofs, we've got Reinforcements of the Army, of course. You cannot play a warrior deck without a Rhoda. Rhoda is your secondary searcher. It's what you hope to see if you don't see Chalice. Heritage of the Chalice. But Heritage of the Chalice is definitely better to see than this. But it's still good. Seeing both in one hand is really great because you can tune however you want. And then we've got one Monster Reborn. Because it's at 1. If you wanted to be spicy, you could probably play World Legacy Inheritance, but I don't think that one's worth it. So it's not searchable at all in this deck. So we've got Isolde, 2 Tales of the Noble Knights. You've got to play this at 3. She's super busted in this deck. Being able to load whatever equip spells in your graveyard you want is extremely good and is never to be underestimated. She'll put in 4 usually, allowing you to shuffle back the one that you used for the combo, or 2 of the ones you don't want, and then 1 monster, which allows you to gain a lot of advantage and reset so that Isolde is still alive the next turn. That's really important to make sure that Isolde's alive constantly. Artorigus, King of the Noble Knights. Artorigus is definitely one of my favorites as well. He is probably the most useful, as you will usually only be able to go into 4s. I might get a third one of him, but as of now it has not come up. So, but that's only because of Sacred Knight, Noble Knight, King of Custanin. Sorry. Sacred Noble Knight of King Custanin is probably one of the nichest ones, I would say. He's definitely not my favorite. He's the one I go into if I have extra, but there's a certain point where he is very valuable because he can recur and he can special summon himself out and equip, or special summon a king on top of him. So he's really the best floater in the game that I can think of, but he's only good because he does not equip any of the equip spells. He doesn't gain you very much of advantage if you're playing, or if you have until Noble Arms are needed once again on the field. So I don't go into him very often unless I can afford to. And last but not least, we've got 2 Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorigus. I was playing 3 of this at first, but I needed to free up some space for some other more generic links. But Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorigus is your biggest monster. As well, he has the ability to float a Noble Knight when he leaves from the field to the graveyard, from the graveyard. But he's probably your best knight, or yeah, he's your best extra deck monster, strongest Sacred Noble Knight. But he's definitely really important to the deck. You're not going to be able to summon him as very often as you like. Usually Custanin or Excalibur are how you're going to be summoning Sacred Noble Knight of King Artorigus. But he has the same effect of Artorigus to equip 3 Noble Arms from grave when he is summoned. So that's really important to remember as well. I'm playing 1 Heroic Champion Excalibur. I just prefer to play this in any warrior deck. It's really kind of a blank space for you guys, but I prefer to have Excalibur in my warrior decks at all times. Just kind of a nostalgia thing. You can play whatever you want in this spot. And then I'm playing 1 Nightmare Cerberus and 1 Nightmare Phoenix. Nightmare Phoenix is basically just your Nightmare package, and you kind of need it. And then we got 1 Nightmare Unicorn. To round out your Nightmare package. I'm not playing the Mermaid because I'm not playing Isolde, or I am playing Isolde. I'm not playing Ibli, so I don't need to. I'm kind of testing this card. It's Arcana Extra Joker. Extra Joker is a negate you can put on board with 3 links. It's kind of got the Decode Talker links, and basically you can discard a card from your hand of the same type that's activated to negate a card. All it takes is 3 warriors with different names, which this deck can put out pretty easily. If you find yourself in a tough spot, you can kind of just summon them out. So that's pretty much all I got on him, but kind of testing him out, seeing how that goes. And as well, when he's destroyed, you can special summon a normal monster from your deck, which you don't have. I was thinking about playing Artorigus, the Noble Knight, but he's kind of just a brick. We'll see how often it comes up in the future, but moving on, we've got 1 Decode Talker. Decode's also a negate. He's a lot more generic, just has 3 effect monsters, so you can't use Madrot or Boars when they're not equipped with an equip spell, but Decode Talker is probably my second option. If you guys have something better, you can definitely put that in there. And then Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax. I don't have a Boral Sword right now. I can't really afford to pick up a Boral Sword, even though I know they're cheap. Don't jump on me about that. I just don't have any money right now. But Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avermax, really good link for nonetheless. Being able to put him on board is kind of like putting a wall in front of you. If they can get him down, you're kind of boned because your deck can put out probably just enough to make him, but that's about it. This has been my Noble Knight deck profile. If you guys are interested, go ahead and go check out our Facebook, Twitter. I might have our Discord in the server below. but it's been Shane from Team COG.